What if I told you that the nuts you eat every day could be the secret to living a longer, healthier life, or the reason you're not feeling as good as you should be? I know, it sounds shocking, but hear me out. As we age, especially after 60, our bodies become a little more selective. What worked in our younger years doesn't quite cut it anymore. And sometimes, even the most innocent foods, like those handfuls of nuts we snack on so casually, could either be helping you thrive, or silently working against you. Think about it, you've probably been told that nuts are healthy, that they're packed with good fats, protein, and all kinds of nutrients. But what if some of those nuts aren't as good for you as you've been led to believe? What if you've been munching on the wrong ones all along, without even realizing it? It's not your fault, and I bet you never even thought to question it. In just a few minutes, I'm going to reveal the surprising truth about nuts. What you should be eating, and more importantly, which ones you should steer clear of if you want to stay healthy. The kinds of nuts that can actually improve your heart, boost your energy, and keep you sharp. And then, I'll also show you which ones could be secretly contributing to joint pain, high blood pressure, or even putting your health at serious risk. Stick with me until the end, because I'm about to drop a game-changing tip on you, something so simple, yet so powerful, that could completely transform how you snack, how you feel, and maybe even how long you live. You don't want to miss this. Trust me. Every day, millions of people reach for a handful of nuts without giving them a second thought. We've all heard the buzz about how nuts are a great snack, packed with protein and healthy fats. They seem harmless, right? After all, they're natural, full of nutrients, so they must be good for us. But here's the kicker. What if I told you that some of these healthy snacks might actually be doing more harm than good, especially for those of us over 60? I know it sounds hard to believe, but the truth is, not all nuts are created equal. In fact, some nuts could be the hidden culprit behind inflammation, high blood pressure, or even digestive issues that get worse over time. Imagine enjoying your favorite snack, thinking you're doing something good for your body, only to realize it's quietly causing harm. So, let's start with the first nut on our list. It's one that many people think is healthy, something you probably snack on without hesitation. It's a nut that's often praised for its rich taste and nutritional value. But here's the truth, this nut could be causing inflammation in your body, something that becomes more significant as we age. And believe me, inflammation is a silent enemy. It can slowly creep up on you, affecting your joints, your heart, and even your overall well-being. Stay tuned, because I'll be revealing which nut it is in just a moment. But that's not all. We've got another nut on our list that also seems like a great choice. It's often seen as heart-healthy, something that fits perfectly into the good fat category. But guess what? Recent studies suggest this particular nut might be doing the exact opposite. Instead of protecting your heart, it could be worsening heart conditions for some older adults, making you more vulnerable than you realize. You'll want to hear about this one, it's more important than you might think. I know you're probably wondering, how could something so simple, so innocent, cause such a big issue? Well, that's exactly what we're about to uncover. These nuts might seem harmless, but when it comes to your health, every little detail matters. Stick with me as we dig deeper into the truth behind these seemingly harmless snacks. What you'll learn could change the way you look at your next handful of nuts forever. I want to tell you about an elderly woman I once worked with. She came to me, a little skeptical at first, asking for advice on managing her joint pain and poor sleep. She was already on medication, but it wasn't quite making the difference she hoped for. After a deep conversation, I suggested she start incorporating walnuts into her diet. Now, I know what you're probably thinking, walnuts? Really? But hear me out. This woman, like many others, was looking for something simple, something natural, that could complement her ongoing treatment. She began eating just a handful of walnuts a day. After a few weeks, she came back to me with a smile on her face. Her joint pain had noticeably decreased, and she was finally sleeping through the night again. I'm not saying walnuts were a miracle cure, but they made a huge difference in how she felt, and that's exactly what we're talking about today. What seemed like a simple snack, just a handful of walnuts, turned out to be packed with more than just a great taste. Walnuts are loaded with omega-3 fatty acids, those heart-healthy fats that so many of us don't get enough of. Omega-3s are known for their anti-inflammatory properties, which is exactly what your body needs when you're dealing with chronic pain or swelling, especially in your joints. But that's not all. Walnuts also contain powerful antioxidants, which play a crucial role in improving cognitive health. These antioxidants help fight oxidative stress, which, as we age, can contribute to memory decline and cognitive dysfunction. So, when you eat walnuts, you're not just helping your joints, you're also giving your brain a much-needed boost. Here's where the misunderstanding comes in. You see, many people think that all nuts are created equal. They think all nuts offer the same benefits. But that's simply not true. Not all nuts are rich in those heart-healthy omega-3s and antioxidants. In fact, many common nuts don't have the same impact on reducing inflammation or supporting brain function. Walnuts stand out because they're one of the few nuts that deliver these incredible health benefits, especially for people over 60. They're not just a tasty snack, they're a powerful tool for aging well. But before we move on to talk about more nuts, I want you to remember this: walnuts are something you want to make sure you're eating regularly. They're a simple yet effective way to give your body what it needs to stay strong and healthy. Now, before you get too comfortable, let's take a look at a nut you should absolutely stay far away from. It's a sneaky one, and you'll want to hear why. Don't go anywhere, you won't want to miss this. Let me share another story with you. There was this wonderful senior woman I worked with who, like many others, had gotten used to snacking on processed foods. We all know those quick, convenient snacks: chips, crackers, sugary treats. They're just so easy to grab when you're on the go. But over time, she started feeling more sluggish, low on energy, and her cholesterol levels weren't exactly where they should be. So, I suggested she try replacing those processed snacks with something more wholesome: almonds. At first, she was a little hesitant. Almonds? How could something so small really make a difference, she asked. But over time, she trusted the process and started incorporating a small handful of almonds into her daily routine. To her surprise, the results were incredible. Not only did her energy levels soar, but her cholesterol levels also began to improve. Her doctor even noted a positive shift in her cardiovascular health. It was amazing to see her go from feeling sluggish to vibrant and full of life, all thanks to a simple change in her diet. So, what's so special about almonds? Well, almonds are packed with vitamin E, magnesium, and healthy fats. 3 things that are essential for keeping your heart in good shape. As we age, our cardiovascular health becomes even more crucial. Maintaining healthy cholesterol levels and supporting your heart is a must for those over 60. And that's where almonds come in. They're one of the best sources of monounsaturated fats, which are known to help reduce bad cholesterol, LDL, while boosting the good cholesterol, HDL. This helps keep your arteries clear and reduces the risk of heart disease, which is a big concern for older adults. But that's not all. Almonds are also loaded with magnesium, which plays a vital role in maintaining a healthy heart rhythm. Magnesium helps regulate blood pressure and prevent the development of cardiovascular issues like arrhythmia and hypertension. And then there's vitamin E, which is a powerful antioxidant. As we age, our body's ability to protect itself from oxidative stress diminishes. Vitamin E helps combat this and can even improve cognitive function. It's like a triple threat for heart health, brain health, and overall wellness. Now, here's where the misunderstanding lies. Most people only think of almonds as a weight loss food. They're often marketed as the go-to snack when you're trying to shed a few pounds, and yes, almonds do play a role in weight management. But here's the thing, almonds aren't just good for weight loss, they're also fantastic for your heart and brain. Many people overlook their cardiovascular and cognitive benefits, thinking they're just a diet food. But for older adults, almonds are a game changer for heart health and mental clarity. So, if you've been underestimating their full potential, now's the time to add them to your daily routine. But hang on, we're not done yet. There's one more nut I want to tell you about, and trust me, it could completely transform your heart health. Stay with me, because this one is truly powerful. You're going to want to add this one to your list too. Let me tell you about a client of mine who was struggling with fatigue and low energy, and it was really taking a toll on her quality of life. She had tried various remedies, but nothing seemed to stick. After a bit of research, I suggested she try adding Brazil nuts to her diet. At first, she was hesitant. How could a handful of nuts make a difference, she asked. But I explained that Brazil nuts have a unique property that could be exactly what she needed. After just a few weeks of adding Brazil nuts to her daily routine, something incredible happened. Her energy levels started to improve, and perhaps more significantly, she noticed a major shift in her thyroid function. She had been dealing with thyroid issues for a while, and the improvement was clear. Her doctor even remarked on the positive change in her blood tests. It was like the Brazil nuts had given her body the extra boost it needed to feel vibrant and balanced again. So, what's the secret behind Brazil nuts? These nuts are incredibly high in selenium, a powerful mineral that plays a critical role in the body. Selenium is essential for maintaining proper thyroid function, and as we age, our thyroid health becomes even more important. A well-functioning thyroid regulates metabolism, energy levels, and even plays a role in how our body responds to stress. When your thyroid is out of balance, it can lead to all sorts of issues, from fatigue to weight gain and even mood swings. But with Brazil nuts, you're giving your thyroid the support it needs to function optimally. But the benefits don't stop there. Selenium is also a major player when it comes to boosting immunity. As we get older, our immune system naturally becomes less efficient, making us more susceptible to illnesses. Selenium helps combat this by strengthening the immune system and increasing your body's ability to fight off infections. It's also been shown to reduce the risk of certain cancers. Imagine that. One small nut, packed with this miracle mineral, doing so much for your overall health. Here's where many people go wrong. They assume that all nuts are created equal when it comes to boosting immunity. But the truth is, not all nuts have the same impact on the body. While some are rich in fats and antioxidants, Brazil nuts stand out due to their exceptionally high selenium content. In fact, just 1 or 2 Brazil nuts a day can provide you with more than enough selenium for the day. So, if you're looking for a nut that not only supports your thyroid but also strengthens your immune system, Brazil nuts are the way to go. Now, before we wrap up the must-eat nuts, I want to shift gears for a moment. We've talked about the nuts that can help you feel better, live longer, and support your overall health. But I can't leave you without warning you about the nuts you absolutely need to stay away from. Trust me, this next part is just as important as what we've covered so far, so stay with me. You don't want to miss this. Now, let's talk about a nut that you've probably enjoyed more than once, cashews. They're creamy, slightly sweet, and perfect for snacking or adding to dishes. Many people love them for their smooth texture, but here's the thing, cashews have a dark side that you may not know about, especially when it comes to older adults with more sensitive immune systems. I remember a client of mine who, like many, loved cashews. She'd snack on them regularly, thinking they were just as good as other nuts. But after some time, she started noticing something troubling. Her joints were becoming more swollen and painful, and her inflammation levels were through the roof. At first, she didn't make the connection, but after reviewing her diet, we discovered that the culprit might be her frequent cashew consumption. It turns out that for some people, especially seniors, cashews can be a sneaky source of inflammation. You see, while cashews taste delicious and are packed with essential nutrients, they're also higher in omega-6 fatty acids. Now, omega-6s aren't inherently bad, they're actually essential fats that our bodies need. But here's the problem. Most of us already get more than enough omega-6 in our diets, especially with the prevalence of processed foods and vegetable oils. When consumed in excess, omega-6 can trigger inflammation in the body. For older adults, this can be particularly harmful. If you suffer from conditions like arthritis, heart disease, or even autoimmune disorders, consuming too many omega-6 can worsen these conditions. What's even more concerning is that the balance between omega-6 and omega-3 fatty acids is critical for managing inflammation. Ideally, you want to have a good balance of both, but most diets are far too heavy on omega-6 and not nearly enough on omega-3. Cashews, being higher in omega-6, tip that balance in the wrong direction. This could lead to increased joint pain, swelling, and other inflammation-related issues, especially in people who are already struggling with these problems as they age. Now, I know what you're probably thinking, but cashews are healthy, right? After all, they're rich in vitamins and minerals, and they've been touted as a great snack. And while it's true that cashews offer some nutritional benefits, they're not always the best choice for older adults, particularly those who have existing health concerns like joint pain or heart conditions. The balance of fats in cashews simply doesn't make them the ideal nut for seniors trying to manage inflammation. This is one of the biggest misunderstandings people have about cashews. They're often seen as a heart-healthy nut, but the truth is, if you're not careful, they could contribute to chronic inflammation, which can, over time, worsen conditions like arthritis, heart disease, and more. So, while it's okay to enjoy cashews in moderation, they should definitely not be a daily staple if you're trying to manage inflammation or heart health. But here's a question for you. Have you ever felt discomfort after eating cashews? Maybe some joint pain or bloating? Let's discuss it in the comments below. I'd love to hear your thoughts and experiences. We're all in this together, and your story might help someone else make a better choice for their health. But before we move on, let's take a moment to talk about another nut you should stay away from, a nut that you might never expect to be on the avoid list. Stay tuned, because this one's even more surprising. Let me share a story with you about a friend of mine. Her father had been living with high blood pressure for years, and despite his doctor's advice, his hypertension never seemed to improve. They tried medication, they adjusted his diet, but there was still this persistent issue. One day, my friend mentioned to me how her father loved snacking on peanuts, pretty much a daily habit. She told me that peanuts were his go-to snack, and he'd eat them mindlessly while watching TV, thinking they were a harmless choice. They never even made the connection that peanuts could be contributing to his blood pressure issues. After diving deeper into his diet, we realized something shocking. Peanuts, though they're often considered a healthy option, were actually making his hypertension worse. Peanuts, like many other snacks, are highly processed and typically contain added salts. And this is where things get tricky. The excess sodium that comes with peanuts can directly affect blood pressure, especially in older adults who are already at risk of hypertension. For my friend's father, these salty peanuts were a hidden contributor to his health issues. Once they cut back on peanuts, along with a few other dietary changes, his blood pressure started to improve. So, what's the real deal with peanuts? While they might seem like a nutritious snack, rich in protein and healthy fats, they're often loaded with sodium, which is a major concern when it comes to managing hypertension. As we age, sodium becomes even more dangerous. The body's ability to handle excess salt decreases over time, and it can lead to a number of issues, but high blood pressure is the most concerning. For people over 60, managing sodium intake is crucial, and peanuts are sneaky in this regard because they're often marketed as a healthy, heart-friendly food. But the reality is, that salt content can tip the balance and put your heart at serious risk. Peanuts are also processed in ways that increase their sodium content. When peanuts are roasted, salted, or turned into peanut butter, they're often treated with added preservatives, flavorings, and salt to enhance the taste. And let's be honest, how many of us just pop a handful of peanuts without thinking twice? It's so easy to overlook how much sodium you're actually consuming. If you're already dealing with high blood pressure, the added salt in peanuts can have a cumulative effect that slowly worsens your condition. Here's where the misunderstanding comes in. Many people believe that peanuts are just like any other nut, packed with healthy fats and nutrients. But the sodium and the way peanuts are processed makes them a poor choice for older adults, particularly those who are managing heart conditions or hypertension. While a handful of peanuts here and there might not seem like much, it adds up over time, and the impact on your blood pressure can be significant. It's easy to assume that peanuts are harmless, but they can silently exacerbate health problems, especially for seniors. So, the next time you reach for that bowl of peanuts, think about the sodium content. You might want to reconsider, especially if you're over 60 and have a history of hypertension or heart disease. There are plenty of other snack options that won't put your health at risk. But don't go anywhere just yet. The last nut I'm about to talk about may surprise you, but trust me, you need to hear this. It's tied to one of the most common health risks among seniors, and you'll want to know why you should stay far away from it. Stay tuned, because this one's a real game changer. Now, let's talk about a nut that might be a little more indulgent in nature: macadamia nuts. These are often seen as a luxurious snack, the kind you might treat yourself to when you want something rich and flavorful. You know the ones, those smooth, buttery nuts that melt in your mouth. They're often praised for their taste and texture, and you might even associate them with something healthy because they come from nature. But there's a catch, especially for those of us over 60. I had a client who, like many, loved macadamia nuts. She enjoyed them as a treat and thought they were doing wonders for her diet. But after regularly snacking on them, she noticed that her cholesterol levels were creeping up, despite her efforts to eat healthy. At first, she didn't make the connection, but when we reviewed her eating habits, we discovered that the macadamia nuts were contributing to her rising cholesterol. These nuts, though delicious, are packed with fats, specifically, monounsaturated fats. And while monounsaturated fats are generally considered healthy, they can pose a problem if they're not eaten in moderation, especially for older adults trying to manage cholesterol levels. Macadamia nuts are incredibly rich in these monounsaturated fats. While they're better for you than saturated fats, they still contain a significant amount of calories and fat that can add up quickly if you're not careful. For seniors who are already at risk for heart disease or are working hard to manage their cholesterol, eating too many macadamia nuts can have the opposite effect of what you're hoping for. Instead of supporting heart health, they could actually contribute to higher cholesterol levels, increasing the risk of heart disease over time. What many people don't realize is that the problem isn't just the fat content, it's the amount of fat in macadamias. These nuts are dense with calories, and even a small handful can pack a punch. When you're already working with a sensitive cardiovascular system, this kind of fat can easily push your cholesterol levels higher than they should be, putting additional strain on your heart. The misunderstanding here is that macadamia nuts are often seen as a healthy option because they're plant-based, high in good fats, and full of vitamins and minerals. And while they do offer some health benefits, the high fat content should be monitored, especially if you have existing heart disease or are trying to control your cholesterol. Just because a food is natural or considered healthy doesn't mean it's right for everyone. Moderation is key, especially when it comes to macadamias. For seniors, particularly those with heart concerns, consuming too many could easily tip the balance in the wrong direction. So, while macadamia nuts may feel like a decadent, guilt-free treat, they could be doing more harm than good if you're not paying attention to the amount you're eating. It's important to understand how they fit into your overall diet, especially when it comes to managing heart health and cholesterol. And if you're not careful, that small handful of macadamias could be raising your cholesterol without you even realizing it. Now that we've covered the nuts you should steer clear of, let's take a moment to reflect on why these simple changes to your diet can make a massive difference in your health moving forward. Every small decision you make about what goes into your body has a ripple effect on your health, and by being mindful of these nuts, you could be taking steps toward better heart health, less inflammation, and even a longer, more vibrant life. The power is in your hands. These are choices we make every day, yet we often don't realize just how significant they are as we get older. We go about our lives snacking without thinking twice, without realizing that these seemingly small decisions can have a profound impact on our health. Especially as we age. But what if I told you that making just a few simple changes to your diet, like switching up the nuts you snack on, could help you live a longer, healthier life? It's easy to dismiss these little things, to think that they won't make much of a difference in the grand scheme of things. But as we get older, our bodies are more sensitive to what we put into them. It's like a car that's been running for years. You can keep it going, but you need to pay attention to the small details, like the oil, the tires, and yes, even the fuel. Our bodies are the same way. Every little thing we put in, from the food we eat to the way we care for ourselves, adds up over time. So, what if these small changes could be the key to better health, fewer doctor's visits, and a life full of energy and joy? When you think about your own daily choices, do you recognize any of these nuts in your current diet? Are you reaching for the walnuts or the almonds? Or perhaps you've been snacking on the peanuts or cashews without giving it a second thought? Think about how these nuts could be impacting you, your energy levels, and your long-term health. Could switching out the nuts that might be harming you and adding in the ones that support your heart, your brain, and your joints make a difference for you or a loved one? Imagine the difference it could make if you made these simple changes today. If you started choosing the right nuts, you could help yourself avoid common health risks that come with aging. You could lower your chances of developing heart disease, improve your joint function, and give your brain the boost it needs to stay sharp. The power to make those changes, to improve your health, is right in your hands. You don't need to wait for a diagnosis to take charge of your well-being. Every choice you make, no matter how small it may seem, can have a massive impact. By now, you understand just how important it is to choose the right nuts, and to avoid the ones that could harm your health. But it's more than just about food. It's about taking control of your future, making mindful choices, and not letting years of habits go unnoticed. These small adjustments in your diet may seem minor, but over time, they add up. It's like planting seeds in your garden. What you sow today determines what you'll harvest in the years to come. The good news is, you have the power to make those choices right now. So, think about it. How can these small, simple changes help you and your loved ones live better lives? What impact could they have on your future? By paying attention to what you eat and making small but powerful adjustments, you're not just improving your diet, you're taking an active role in preserving your health for the long run. And that, my friend, is the kind of power you want to hold on to as you continue your journey through life. Ignoring these nutritional insights isn't just a missed opportunity. It could have serious consequences for your health, consequences that could have been prevented with just a little more awareness, a little more care. The truth is, when we overlook these small but significant changes, we're not just missing out on a chance to feel better today. We're setting ourselves up for a future that could include more health struggles than necessary. The pain, the fatigue, the chronic conditions that could be avoided, if we only knew better and made different choices. Think about it. If you continue eating the wrong nuts, the ones that increase inflammation or worsen heart conditions, you might not notice it immediately. The effects can be slow, creeping in over time, until one day you realize that the simple aches and pains you've been feeling, the fatigue you've been brushing off, are all signs of something more serious, something that could have been avoided. You could be dealing with joint pain, high blood pressure, or cognitive decline in ways that were completely preventable. Every choice you make today directly impacts how you'll feel tomorrow, next week, next year. But here's the good news, it's never too late to make a change. You have the power to take control of your health now, and you don't need to wait until something goes wrong. By acting now, by making smarter choices, you can drastically improve your quality of life. You can be the one who feels more energetic, sharper, and more vibrant as you age. You can help prevent those common conditions that so many people in their later years struggle with. It's all within your reach, and it all starts with the simple choice to change what you eat, what you put into your body. When you make the decision to switch to heart-healthy, anti-inflammatory nuts like walnuts, almonds, and Brazil nuts, you're not just making a snack choice, you're investing in your future. You're ensuring that you'll be able to enjoy your golden years with the vitality you deserve. You'll be able to stay active, stay engaged with your loved ones, and most importantly, you'll be able to maintain your independence for as long as possible. But it's not just about you. By sharing this knowledge with those you care about, your family, friends, loved ones, you can help them, too. You can make a difference in their lives, just as you're making a difference in your own. Imagine if everyone made the same choices you're learning about today. What if we all paid attention to the nuts we eat, the small adjustments we can make to stay healthier? Together, we could help each other live longer, healthier, and more fulfilling lives. So, remember this, every small change matters. Every mindful choice is an investment in your future. By acting now, making these smarter decisions, you're not just protecting your health, you're protecting your future, your comfort, your joy. You deserve to live the fullest, healthiest life possible, and the best part is, you're in control. The knowledge you've gained today can empower you to live your best life, now and in the years to come. So, let's not wait any longer. Let's take this knowledge, put it into action, and watch as it transforms our lives, one small, healthy choice at a time. So, we've covered the must-eat nuts, the ones that can help you feel better, live longer, and boost your health as you age. We've also talked about the ones to avoid, the ones that could be silently working against your health, and the ones that should be treated with a little more caution. Now, I want to hear from you. Let's make this a conversation. Which nuts do you currently eat regularly? Do you find any of these suggestions surprising? Maybe you've been snacking on one of the bad nuts without even realizing it. Or maybe you've already been making some of the positive changes I've mentioned today. I'd love to know what nuts are part of your routine and if any of these insights have changed the way you look at them. Drop a comment below and let's discuss your experiences. You never know, your story could help someone else make better choices for their health. And hey, if you learned something valuable today, don't forget to hit that like button. And, if you want to keep improving your health and learning more tips to live your best life as you age, make sure you subscribe to this channel. Trust me, you don't want to miss out on the health insights we're bringing you in future videos. We're here to help you take control of your health in a way that feels simple, real, and actionable. But before you go, let me tease the next episode. In our next video, we're going to dive even deeper into another essential health topic for seniors, one that can have a huge impact on your daily life. I won't spoil it just yet, but I promise you'll want to know about it. Stay tuned, because it's one that could change the way you look at your overall health, and it's something you won't want to miss. Until then, take care of yourself, and remember, every little change you make can lead to a big difference in your health and your future.